Hey there again. I am out at the homestead today. I brought the dogs out to run around for a bit. We still have another sick kid at home, so the whole group didn't come out today. I just came out with the dogs. They need an exercise break. Right now we're living in a rental that does not have a fenced yard, so it's kind of hard letting them out to run like they need to, the kind of dogs they are. They're all border collies. We've got 3 of them and 1 Australian shepherd. And they need a purpose or they just go nuts. So their purpose out here is to chase rabbits and explore the terrain for us. They've been really good about going out for half hour, 40 minutes and coming back and checking in. Couple of times they've been gone for a little bit longer than that. We've had to wait them out, and I think they've learned that's not what we appreciate from them, not what we expect. So they've been really good lately. Just thought I would kind of go over our whole situation and what we're doing out here, how we got here, who we are. We haven't really gone through a video like that yet. So we decided to move out of we live in Valley, Utah, which is up by Salt Lake City. And we lived there for 15 years in a 1,400 square foot house on a quarter of an acre that we did garden a lot. We did have our own garden every year. We did everything we could as far as living in a city and trying to be self-sufficient and recycle everything, come up with new ways of not spending money on new stuff, conservative, that kind of thing. We got to the point that we were just so claustrophobic there. There was just such a tension in the air in that city, in that valley. There's over 2 million people in that valley, I believe now. And our city alone was about 140,000 people. But there was no stop between cities, so the whole valley was just full, packed full, and it was just growing, and it is growing, and it's going to double in the next 15 years or so. The population's going to go double up there, they expect. So it just got to us that we weren't able to let our kids out in the area. There was too much going on. There was gangs in the neighborhood. We had a bunch of thefts in our house and our neighbors' houses and various things like that. There was just too much. It just got to us. We just weren't feeling safe, weren't feeling happy. Too much tension. It was not where we wanted to be anymore. Now, saying that, we left a lot of good people behind. We had some really great neighbors and friends up there, and we miss them. And hopefully some of them are watching these videos and can relay that to the neighborhood, how we do miss the people there. But we are loving it down here. We moved down to northern Arizona. We were able to find some property. We got 38 acres with a well on it and these 2 storage containers you've been seeing us work on. And we paid that off, and we were able to buy that building that's a 30 by 50 steel building. We were planning on just using as a storage building, but after we got down here, we're right now thinking that's going to be the quickest way to get a livable space up. So our plan right now is to get it up and start converting it into a home and see how that goes. There are a lot of unique buildings out in this area like that. We've got a friend of ours who has a dome home out here that's really neat. She's done almost everything we need to do, so she's been invaluable already as a reference to who to contact, what situation's better, what product's better. We can learn from her mistakes, so it's been really nice to have her out here to be able to pick her brain. And there's a lot of other neat people out here that we're getting to know. We've only been here for a couple of months, and so it is still an adjustment. We are down to about a town of 5,600. There's a neighboring town about the same size, so we're in the 11,000, 12,000 people compared to the 2 million we came from. And it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I know this winter is warmer than it has been, warmer than expected. We're enjoying it. Our kids, we feel safer down here. We're letting them, living on a golf course right now, and we let them out to walk the dogs for 40 minutes, hour at a time, and don't worry about them. In West Valley, I wouldn't let them out of my sight. The second time I did, they ran to a playground behind our house to play, rode their bikes over, and we sent a little 2-way radio with them. And my 7-year-old at the time got pushed off his bike, and some 10-year-old said, "That's my bike," and took off with it. Yeah, I mean, we managed to get it back, but that's the experiences they were having there. And that's what we didn't appreciate. And out here, they are able to roam, and I have no worries about them. The fact that, in fact, the people who had our house before us, that rented it before us, had to search for their key. They never locked their house down here, which is just insane. But they only had one key, and they had a hard time finding it to turn it over to us. We're not quite that lax, and I don't know if that will ever wear off to where we are, but it just tells you a little bit about the area and the difference down here. So our plans are, again, to build that house. We are going to develop this property. We want to put a garden in. We need to put a garden in. We're heavy into that, and we're going to miss that for the next year or two. It takes us to get this set up. We'd like to get the chickens to raise. We've got lots of thoughts on various things like beehives and possibly goats. We'll see how that goes. But basically, we want to be out in a safer area. If there is any issues, major issues that happen in the country, we're not going to have to worry about some of the scary scenarios that are out and about being predicted. We want to be off-grid. We're going to try and get our solar system up. Now, with the windmills out here, we thought it'd be a good idea to put a little wind generator out here, but we're hearing opposite of that. We're hearing that the winds get too high at times for a personal one, and they get destroyed pretty quick. So we're not going to use that option at the moment. There is no power to these lot out here. There is poles running down. I won't turn the camera, but there's poles running down close to it, but I've been told that there is not available to tap off of them, which is okay because we want to do solar anyway. We are going to put a big water cistern in to collect to fill up with the well, and we still want to put some rainwater collection in as well. There's a lot of gardening we want to do. We want to put a big, nice fruit trees, food all year long, whatever we can do out here. So it'll be nice to have reserves for that as far as keeping that stuff alive. I haven't really introduced us. My name is Stephanie. I've been working in retail for the past 20 odd years, managing stores, things like that. It's gotten old. I've gotten past that. I am ready for a change. My husband's name is Dudley. He's luckily retired, so he's able to do what he wants to do right now. And he was working for a company that built simulators for the government up in Salt Lake. And he was the artist, did the texture mapping and the different things for the simulators to make them look real. And he's an incredibly talented artist, so hopefully we'll get some of his work on our logo and stuff soon. I have three sons. I have Douglas, Drew, and Duncan as their youngest. They are loving it out here. They love coming out and playing, and there's new things to do, and I can just see this is going to be the best thing for them, is moving out here and having the opportunities we're going to create out here. As far as future goes, we're going to need to get a tractor to do a bunch of stuff. We have some road maintenance. It's not our road, it's a county road, but there are a couple of places that my little station wagon probably won't make it through in the heavy rains, so we're going to do what we can to fix those, because I don't think the county's going to get out here to do it. So we've got a couple of spots to figure out what to do the best on those. And then we'll decide where our houses are going to be, and we'll extend our property driveway, or whatever you want to call it, out to where that's going to be. So in the future, we're looking to buy a tractor. My husband's really wanting to get into welding. There's a few projects that will require a welder, so that's another focus for the future. We are going to need to do the cement pads and things like that for the building. So we've got a lot of things to learn, a lot of opportunities. It's going to be fun. We're going to document all of it. The whole point of this video series is to let the people that we left behind see what we're doing, because there is a lot of curiosity and people concerned for our welfare and think we're nuts, that kind of thing. We got to prove them wrong somehow, right? And then as far as, the other reason is just for us to document what we've done and be able to look back on it and see what we could have done differently or what we enjoyed. It's just nice to have the record. and family members can watch us and again think we're insane, but we'll show them that this is really a neat thing that we want to do, what we're supposed to be doing. I have seen quite a few other YouTube channels of people in this area, so that's exciting. I've been find as many as I can and strike up a conversation when I can. There's a lot of support out here, a lot of people with the same kind of mindset, and it's just, like I said, been really, really nice. We're thrilled living here, we're happy here, and I can't wait for things to keep continuing progressing. That's going to go into our renting a house a little bit more. We were not planning on doing that. We were planning on buying an RV and putting it out here on the property, living out here while we developed it. Some things just kind of led us into the house instead. We had when this red container here, when we found out it was full of trash, we had planned on moving our house basically into it, our stuff that we packed, and having a storage site, that we owned to put it in. And we got down here and had this issue with so much junk in it that changed those plans pretty quickly. I had it all worked out for us really well. I had called actually a month or two earlier, and there's like 8 storage units in the area, but a couple of them are pretty small, and nobody had openings. They had like a 10 by 10 or 10 by 5 openings. That was it. And I'm sitting here, we were planning on having this stuff out of this container and ready to move our moving trucks into, and it just wasn't happening. So at about 4:55, before the storage unit closed at 5, I happened to make a call and just looking desperately for something to do instead. And this unit had just had 2 10 by 20s open up like an hour or two before I called. So that really worked out well for us. I grabbed those. We were able to move our stuff into those. We had some people in the area down here that helped us unload, which was an amazing thing too, because we had people on the other side load us. We had, our old neighbors were able to help load us, and then we had people unloading down here. And without people like that, we would have really had a harder time. It almost wouldn't be possible. And we had a good friend drive down with us. We decided to rent our own trucks and drive them rather than find a moving company, just to be more cost effective. And we ended up making 2 trips with 3 Penske trucks. That was an adventure in its own. It's a, in theory, 9-hour drive from Salt Lake, and it turned out 12 to 15-hour drives just because we were slow. The trucks didn't go fast. We had a lot of stuff in them, that kind of thing. So that was an adventure getting the stuff down here. And as we were in the middle of all that, I just decided, we kind of had the thought and brought it up to Dudley, maybe we should take our money we were putting into an RV and rent for a little while. We were coming down here in November. We had originally put our house up for sale in June, and it took us till October to sell it, which was surprising. So our plans got changed a bit as far as that goes as well. And once again, I looked all over town, 2 towns down here, couldn't find any rentals open. There is a new plant out here that's bringing a lot of new people moving in here. It's a 40-acre area they're growing some medicinal products in. And a lot of people are moving into the area for that, and there is no rentals. Everything was full. And I just, on a whim, called my realtor that I'd bought this property from and said, hey, do you know any property managers that might have a rental open? And he said, well, let me look around and I'll call you back in a little bit. And he calls back and he says, well, my boss is a property manager for a few houses, and she has one that's opening up in a week or two that we haven't even listed yet. We've already had inquiries from other people, but we're going to let you take it. And so we got the only rental house in town that was opening up too. So that just was, again, it was meant to be. And so we grabbed that, moved on into that. It's a fun place to live. We are on a golf course, so it's interesting getting hit. The house gets hit by golf balls all the time. They have netting up, but there's a few spots that they can get through. And it's fun to watch the guys driving around, but we aren't down here to be in the middle of a neighborhood like that. That's one of the reasons we moved, to be out on our own. So we've got a 6-month lease on that. We can extend it if we need to, but we're hoping to get to the point that we can move out here as soon as possible. I don't know what that's going to mean, but as soon as we can. So we have no reason why we chose this area. We have a lot of people asking us, do you have relatives? Do you have a job down here? No. we came down on a couple of trips. Property's very affordable down here. We wanted a big lot, a 30-40 acre lot, so we managed to get 38 acres. And it just worked out. It just was the right place to be for us. And we've met a lot of other people who've had the same experience. They're just here. They came by, they found something, they happen to like it, and they're here. So like I said, a neat area, neat people out here, great mindset. We expect to have a lot of friends and support here. So that's the story about why we are not living on site right now. Sorry I got interrupted by a phone call there. Dudley checking to make sure everything's okay out here. This is my first time alone out here, but that's okay. He gets to come out here all the time with dogs and let them run, and this time he got to stay home with the sick kid. I'm just gonna walk around and see if there's anything I can do by myself out here. We were gonna pull the floor up today and see what chaos is under the container in there today, but Duncan's just not feeling good, and so we couldn't bring him out here. And so just me, and I'm not doing that alone. So we'll do that on probably next week. So I was trying to come up with something to do out here on my own while I let the dogs play. And so I thought, hey, I'll jump in here and pull this siding out or whatever this stuff is. Look at this stuff. It's like siding for inside your house, I think, like a wall siding. Anyway, I'm like, I'll just jump in here and dig it out, right? I don't know if you saw that video, but yeah, right. It's buried clear back up into here, and I'm just not, I don't want to just dig it out by hand. There's got to be a more efficient way of pulling this stuff out of here. So it looks dangerous, like things are going to cave in on you, but it's not moving. That dirt's got it packed in there tight. I mean, look at that. I can't get anything to move. So yeah, I'm going to come up with a better way of doing this rather than sweating to death. Hey, doggies are back. Okay, I had another couple of thoughts on future wants for purchases. We'd like to get a ATV or two, or some dirt bikes to be able to run around this property, 38 acres, more efficiently. Also, I would like to create a path around the property we can patrol. That idea came from Joe at Homesteadonomics. If you haven't watched his channel, please go watch it. It's my favorite YouTube channel. He's got a path around his acreage that's just awesome. And he walks it every morning and makes sure everything's okay, and that I really want to do out here. Get like a path carved out for the ATVs or to walk or whatever. So I mentioned that there were a couple of spots that needed to be dealt with on this county road. This is the first. If you can tell, the road dirt sand color is changing pretty bad through here. This is sand, very fine sand. That is. Let's see if I can show you. Oh, it's kind of deep through here. Kind of slide around in here dry, so when it's wet, it's gonna just be a mucky puddle to get stuck in. The other spot is up ahead there. Okay, this is the other road spot that I'm concerned about. So you can tell that when it's been raining, it's got a big wash through here, which goes up this direction. And there's some sand in here to get stuck in. Some pretty deep ruts from previous vehicles. There's another wash right there. This one's just really big. And some more deep ruts, and up here is another big wash. So right now, no problem getting through here. Another wash down the side there. When it's raining, monsoons, not so sure how this is gonna be. Especially with my little Mercedes, or what is it? Mercury Sable wagon. So, this isn't our road, but I don't expect it to be maintained by the county. So we're trying to figure out what a cost-effective way of just throwing a repair band-aid or repair on it that will last for hopefully quite a while. I mean, I know it needs to be done to make it a real road. That's an expense we don't really want to put out. So our thoughts right now are possibly bring in a load of dirt and a load of gravel, see if we can, and we already have the wash down the side here to trench the water out. And I don't know, see if we can lay stuff down that'll work for that. And the last thing I forgot to touch on was our desire to remain debt-free. We'd like to pay cash for everything we own and own it outright. So we were able to pay cash for this land and for the building that we were going to put up. And now we are working on prioritizing our finances towards which projects need to be done first and what equipment needs to be purchased first and that sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to end the video now. It was a long one. Hopefully you understand a little bit more about us and what our plans for the future are. And I appreciate you watching, and we'll get another one posted soon.